Hello, and we're back here with Real Life with Love 3D TV. I am so excited. Yes, I am. You know, I'm always excited, right? I can't help myself. And today is so very special. I have the most powerful, because we're going to be talking a lot about power, strong and amazing soul care provider here. Now, something that I tell us as women is that we don't need to just take care of one part of us. We really need to have holistic care, and I mean on a daily basis. And one of the things that we really do not think about working on a daily basis is our soul. So today, I have a soul coach, not just a soul coach, the soul coach, the soul coach, Marilyn Porter, M.E. herself. Welcome, Marilyn. Talk to us.
Hello. You know I am over the moon excited. First of all, because I love. I absolutely love you. And like I told you before, I know this one thing for sure. When it has to do with you, we're going to have fun, but I also know it's going to be impactful and people are going to get what they need. So, I mean, you can't ask for anything more fun and information. It has to be explosive. So I'm excited to be here with you today. I'm super excited. Girl,
oh my God.
I'm like, yes, let's talk.
And you know, we go there. I love you so much because you're a minister and you really take us to a whole nother level. You know, like I'm if I could be back east, I'd be having you as my personal minister because I know exactly, you know, what I'm going to get for my soul. And you're going to work with me today, actually. You're going to show people exactly what it is that you do. So why don't you speak to us about what it entails to speak of and on the soul?
Oh, many of you may know, I know you do love, but many of you may know that I have what I call my BBFF, my business bestie, you know, my business partner. So we're, you know, best business partners, my BBFF.
Yes.
One of the things that anytime she's doing something, anytime she hosts an event or does a series of interviews, I'm talking about the fabulous Famara Green. Anytime she does something,
Okay, I'm sorry. I just had a moment because we're talking next week. I just had, okay.
one question. She has a question that she literally will invite me to her platform, love, just to answer this one question. And it's the funniest thing because before we go live, she's always like, oh my God, let me get ready. She's like, I don't care how many times you say this. I love this answer. And so you have led me right into that place. And so for Mary, if you're watching, you get to hear this answer again. But to me, what it means to speak of, to care for, to acknowledge that it's there. You know, first and foremost, the soul is. I first have to give the audience a definition, my definition. And yes, I am a minister of the gospel, but I believe in the general word of God, which we call the Bible.
Mhm.
But I also believe that he speaks to me directly and he gives me some things that he may not have given anybody else. And this is one of those, I believe this is one of those things that he has shown me what it means, what my soul is and what dwells there and what births out of there. And so for me, when I'm speaking of the soul, first and foremost, I'm going to give you the M.E. Porter definition. So when I'm speaking of the soul, I'm speaking of this place that is so deep inside of us that if you were to take your hand and stick it into your abdomen and continue to reach, when you stopped reaching, the force that would stop your hand from being in motion, you would literally be touching the hand of God. And that to me is the soul place. It's the place where you and God come to collaborate about your life. And if you don't take care of that place right there, everything else is out of whack. And so I know you're like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean, Marilyn? What I mean is soul care, in essence, is to acknowledge, to be aware of that place, to know that there is a place in you that is directly connected to the divinity of everything that we consider to be matter, existence, earth, energy, vibration, frequency. You have a place that's inside of you that when you connect to that place, everything else about your life can flourish. And so I often talk about my soul smiling, or my soul things that soul care in general. What do you do to care for your soul? And so an example of me caring for my soul, and this will give you an opportunity to tap into your own soul place, but an example of me tapping into my soul is something as simple as listening to music. That's my feel good place. That's the place where no matter how I'm feeling, no matter what's going on around me, if I can just get a treble clef in my ear, I'm good. I am good. And so the soul smile is on last night. I'm going to give you guys an example. On last night, I was flipping through the channels and Still Magnolias was on.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite movie, like ever. I love the movie, right? And it literally, my posture, my body posture changes, right? Because not only is my face smiling, my soul is smiling. My entire posture aligns into just because it just makes me feel good. Everything about that movie makes me feel good. It's not about a scripture, it's not about a preacher. It's just about when my eyes connect with the images, with that frequency, with that vibration, with the sound of everything about that movie, it just makes me feel good. It represents a good feeling to me. And so that's one of those things that it can take me out of a bad mood. I can watch Still Magnolias and it can completely change my attitude. Why? Because it changes the vibration that I'm functioning in. It changes the energy that's surrounding me, and it comes out of me. It's not something that I have to depend on another person to do. It comes out of me. I connect with the thing that makes my soul smile. And so all of that energy changes and it comes out of me, and I can then surround myself with all of the radiance that's coming out of my own self. So I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah, that's it. That's the soul.
Oh my God.
I love this stuff.
Oh my God, Marilyn, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I have so many things that just popped up into my head. Okay. One of the things you said was that if you were to take it like this, if you were to reach down into, and let me back up a second. Me and Agape Intelligence, one of the things that we do is we observe and we open up our minds and our hearts to diverse religions, because I really do truly believe that God and the Goddess really speak to people where they are, And you and I were talking about how, I'm from the Bible Belt too, in North Carolina, and like half of my family is ministers, and they're always questioning me on things. And born and bred a Baptist, but I've grown in spirituality to be able to accept Buddhist or whoever, because I know that I used to ask my aunt this. She was the first minister in our family, and I used to ask her, how in the world do you decide how God talks to somebody else? Right. I mean, and when you say that, when you were saying, listen, if you could take your hand and go as deep through your abdomen as possible and then reach in, and God touches your hand on the other side. And like I get um
It
this
feels
feeling
good.
that, yeah, it feels good, but
Good.
it also feels like it's so right, like it's
Yes.
so and I think it's because one of the things, having studied a lot of religions, you guys all know I'm a deep geek. Okay, we all know. I sometimes try to hide it, but I'm reading all kinds of crap. People are like, "What are you reading?" Oh, okay. I was reading about Leonardo da Vinci today, and blah blah. Okay, I'm saying that because I think that I constantly have to study because I don't know enough. And when you said this, it made me think of the chakras. That
Yes.
one of your most powerful chakras is your abdomen, right?
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
for those of you don't know, that's an Eastern belief, that there's a belief in seven chakras that go up your body and down your body, and they're in different places on your body. And it just felt like it was so right. Like if I was really holding on to my stomach and taking deep breaths, like I can feel God that way.
Mhm.
And I'm just so glad that you put it that way. So tell me about, how did you get to the point where you could put it this way, because this is so important to me. Like I'm in school right now. Teacher sister.
Well, like I said, I am very open to dare I say the evolution of God, because um I believe that he created us to go higher and higher and higher, right?
Yes.
And so, because I'm open to going higher, because I'm open to coming out of denomination and out of tradition and out of what grandmama and them said, and
Mhm.
pastor so and so, because I'm open to knowing that as the universe evolves, as earth evolves, as technology evolves, as everything evolves, I believe that God's full intention is for the intellect of the human to evolve as well. And so you have to be
Yeah.
open. And because I'm fully open to every, the Bible says with the Israelites, it said, and every time the cloud moved, they were to follow the cloud. And
Yeah.
so I'm open to, even now in the year of 2016, I'm open to following the cloud. And so when the cloud moves, Emmy moves. And so because I'm moving with the cloud, I'm open to the Spirit of God saying to me, I am in the depths of you. That's where I reside. Um, you can pray to me as like I'm far, far galaxies away in the heavens, or you can acknowledge that I am in the depths of you. That's how I show up in the earth, from inside of you. And so when I got that revelation, um, I had to translate that from my natural self, right? Because I
Mhm.
know that in my natural self, I can't stick my hand through my abdomen, right? So in the spirit realm, for me, in my spiritual eye, I could see the idea of taking my fist and just pushing it through my abdomen. And whenever I hit, oh, that's where God is residing.
Okay, because I'm gonna take us on. I'm gonna take us somewhere else, and I want to see what you think about this.
Okay.
In AI, I tell people all the time, we do workshops. I have AI practitioners. Those are people who have studied AI in such a manner that they can guide other people through AI.
Okay.
And we work with um, especially women, because I think that, to me, that is where we're gonna really start to heal this world. But we also work with corporations. We get into things like no bullying in the workplace, because that way it goes backwards to no bullying at school, no bullying at home,
Right.
all of these things.
Right.
But one of the things that I think that we really push and is so very important is, um, there is no box. And this is what heard you say. You said it differently than what we said in AI, but it's pretty much that there is no box. So I do this little test when I'm doing a workshop, and I say to people, so how many of you think that you think outside of the box? And you get all these hands raised. I do. Yeah, I think outside the box. Some people don't raise their hands. Some people don't think they think outside the box. And so I say, well, now that's interesting. How do you think outside of something that doesn't
That
exist?
doesn't exist. Yes, that's right.
So I like to look at it. I wanted to get your take on there is no box, because it's something like what you said, but does it really equate to what you said?
Um, first of all, the idea of the box, um, the idea of the box doesn't eat it psychologically, because by education, that's my that would be I would be considered a psychologist by education.
Right,
So, but psychologically, the box doesn't make sense,
right.
um, and spiritually, the box doesn't make sense. And so I have never been able to, even as like a child, I've never been able to conceive that there is a box, because the very notion of a box tells me that I am limited in some way.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
so, yeah, no, I mean, I can't even conceive it. Like, I've never been able to conceive that there is a box, because I've never ever had the thought that there's something in this world that I cannot acquire, conquer,
Accomplish.
subdue,
Yes.
take dominion, however you
Yes.
want to put it. I've never had that thought. And so even in times when I have set out to do something and I've done what most people consider failed, which I don't believe in failure either, but that's a whole nother thing, because I just think everything is exactly as it is supposed to be at every given moment. And so
Yes.
that means what we call failure is just what needed to happen to get you to the next moment. So I have these weird things going on that, like I told you, church folks see me coming and they're like, oh God, hey, yes, I do love God, but I also am an intellect. I also am totally open to every move that He makes. And God is not a dummy. He is an
For
intellect.
real. For real. For real.
So no box. No box. I can't even conceive of it.
So, one of the things that the reason I bring the no box up is because what's happened to 98% of the population, and it's been this way throughout history, is that we have this 1%. There's two other percent. The 1% that we hear everybody talk about politically. Oh, they're making all the money. 98% are not, and blah blah blah. But a part of why they are is because they've conceived of this box that is no box, and 98% of the people believe it. And what happens is, not those 98% of the people believe that they're to this or to that. I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too wide, I'm too small, I'm too, they're constantly coming up with reasons why they need to be limited. And then a part of what else happens is everybody else in the box, including your family, I don't think that everybody means to. It just, the way the box works is, in order to keep everybody in the box, we have to keep everybody miserable. Go to work, be freaking miserable, make a very little bit of money, and then be freaking miserable. Then pay all the bills, because you're paying into the same 1%, and be freaking miserable. Go to school and pay all of this money to go to school to get the job you didn't want in the first place, so that you
Uh,
can be miserable. And then, have kids that you think are an extension of you, that you also have to keep in the box, rather than cultivating them. We don't cultivate kids. We quote unquote raise them. My daughter and my son are strong people. Yes, they are, but they've been cultivated to be powerful. So there's a difference, and that's something that we do in Agape Intelligence. why my 24-year-old and my 16-year-old are not doing dope or whatever it is because they're their own people. If they wanted to, they would, but they don't. They find no use in it when it comes to being unlimited. They feel like that would limit them. So they don't have a box, therefore they don't do things that would limit them, you know? And so I think that this is a worthy conversation when you talk about, Emmy, that we've actually limited ourselves and we continue to do that. And this box is a conception. It's not actually something that is real. What I think happens and what I know happens and what we teach you in AI, and I wanted to get your take on this, is we will teach you that, look, you have to do self-study. That's the first thing you need to do. Because we spend so much time looking at everything else, and we give you these tools and exercises and things to help you to study yourself. Now, I'm just going to ask you, because you're an expert, do you think that people really, are they afraid to really unzip their skin and look at themselves? Because if you are still believing what other people have imprinted on you in this box that is no box, then how are you going to make those great changes and strides that you say you want for your life, and you say you want for your children's life, and these connections that you say you want to have with God and your soul and spirit? So I'm just asking you, Marilyn, what do you think it is that people, when it comes to connecting with their soul and really looking at themselves, why do you think people don't want to do that? What are they so afraid of? Because I don't know, I don't get it. Help me.
Okay. Um, First of all, I'm going to answer the closed end question. Are people afraid? The answer, yes.
Okay. Okay.
And so now I'm going to tell you my reasoning. I believe that people are afraid of what's inside of them because the average person, I'm going to say, throw out a number, maybe like 85% of people
Mm-hmm.
are absolutely afraid of the horror that they would see if they really, really tapped into uh, the primal essence of who they are. And when I say primal, I mean that animalistic thing, that thing that goes totally against societal norm, that they wouldn't, in their mind, in their intellectual mind, they're thinking, I wouldn't even know how to control this if I really acknowledged it. Like I would be a wild beast. I wouldn't know how to control it. And so people are afraid to go to that place that they fear is dark. They fear that it's a dark place because they don't realize that going that deep inside of yourself, really getting to the soul of who you are, it really opens you up to a life of balance. It allows you to be both. It allows you to think that thought in your mind, and it allows the societal part of you to say, okay, it's okay to think that, it's not okay to do that. So people are so afraid that if they tapped into it, if they tapped into the rawness of who we are, that they would not be able to, they then no longer would be able to conform. People are comfortable being conformed because as long as you're conformed, it's not your fault.
Yes.
It's not your fault. If you're doing exactly what the government says, and exactly what mama and them said, and exactly what pastor said, and if you're doing all of these things that other people have instructed you to do, that oftentimes totally go against what's really inside of you. If you're doing all of those things and you lose your job, or you get a divorce, or you get cancer from smoking cigarettes, or whatever the case may be, there's always room to go back and say, well, it's legal to smoke cigarettes. It's not my fault I have cancer. They shouldn't sell them.
Yes.
So we are so excited about being conformed because it gives us an excuse. We can always blame somebody else. Once you look inside of yourself, and I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm going to give you one of my hard soul truths. I've been married twice.
Mm-hmm.
I got married once when I was 18. I was divorced at 25, got married again when I was 27. Now, society, right? If I wanted to conform, my first husband, I had one child. And when I was divorced, I was a single mom and I needed some assistance and I needed this and I needed that. The truth is I really didn't need anything because I'm super, super smart. I'm like a genius.
Yes, you are.
I really didn't.
Not like a genius. Right? You are a genius. So what are you talking about?
I really didn't need it, right? But because society says single moms, they struggle, it's hard. We're going to have this program and that program. Food stamps and you get this and you get that. Okay, cool. It's not my fault that, I'm just going to put my daughter in this little daycare program they got that they're going to pay for. And I'm just going to just relax because society has said that it's okay for me as a single divorced mother to not have to go any further than right here. It's not my fault.
Right.
And so I got divorced again. Then I got married again. Well, society. Now, when I say society in this instance, I'm speaking of my world. I'm not speaking of, 7 or 8 billion people. I'm speaking of my town, my family, my friends, my immediately influence, because that really is your society. The government is all around, but the society is just your immediate realm of influence. And so, I got married again. Not because I was in love, but because the society around me was saying, okay, well, now you can't do this. That baby now needs a father. So now you need to do this, 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 and this. So I did those things, right? When I got divorced, it wasn't my fault. Y'all told me I had to get married again. Y'all told me I couldn't be a single parent. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So there is, in the conforming, you give yourself an excuse. Now as a 46-year-old divorced mother of 3 children, right? I am able to sit here and tell you and whoever else is listening that the sole truth of the matter is that I never needed to be married for the reasons that I was married for. And I'm not mad at those brothers that were divorced because I was manipulating and controlling and conforming all the way through. That is the ugly soul truth of the matter. I can handle that. I can say that, girl, and when this interview is over, I'm going to go on about my life because that's who I was, that's what I did, and I'm done with it. The average person cannot deal with the truth of what's going on deep down inside of them and still function outside of shame and guilt. So people are afraid. They're afraid to come face to face with what it means to be who you really are because they don't know that you don't have to act out everything. To acknowledge it, you don't have to act it out. And so they're afraid that they won't be able to control their natural selves if they come face to face with it. So let's just conform and have an excuse.
Okay, so my God. I'm sitting over here going, oh, yeah, okay, I'm gonna calm down. Wait, okay, I can't calm down. There's no calm down after this, Emmy. Damn it, woman! I knew you were gonna do this. Okay. Woo! Woosah. All right. Let's go there because you have gone there. What I mean, let's go there. I'm going there with you. Okay,
let's go.
So we have a great percent of our population who is in this box because they're afraid of that people will find out and they themselves will find out that they've been playing the victim.
Yes.
They've been blaming.
Yes.
They've been playing bully too. Okay, because I got my hand up. I was all into that. the reason I know is because I've done the victim. I've been a bully.
Yes.
I have blamed, and I love to be right. God knows I love to be right, at least appear to be right. You
Yes.
know, because that means that everybody else is wrong, and I'm all that in a bag of chips. And we all know I love cake, which is why I have diabetes. So you can see how all of this crap is me making choices. So in the end, what Emmy is saying comes back to a concept that we have in AI, which is when we move you over from self study, which is where you unzip your skin and you look at the bloody pulp beneath, because you need to do this in order to examine your beliefs, and you need to do this in order to get to the power that you say you want. Okay, because that power is within you, but unless you are real about who the hell you are, all of who you are, the good, the bad, and the not great at all, you have to be really real about it. So um if if we start there, the next step that we do, because AI is shaped like a house, so the foundation is in part self-study. The next part of it is self-control and self-mastery. And the reason that we say that is because you are going to have to be, after you're real about who you are, you're going to have to decide what you truly believe about yourself, because that's when you can look at your beliefs and say, is this who I want to be? And then you get to make a choice. Okay, because everything you do is about the choices you made. You can blame anybody you want to, but I'm going to tell you that the reason that I have two kids and I was single for as many years as I was is because I put up my legs in a V and I made babies. Okay. And so, and I decided to go a different route, and I was just as hardcore as anybody could imagine, because you can't, one of the things that you learn first, even from infancy in this box, is how to manipulate other people.
That's right.
To get what you want and to get what you think is this, or whatever, like Emmy said, what your society is telling you that it should be. So you'll do what it takes to be right. People have gone to war over this idea of being right. And so in order for me not to not to be able to take responsibility for the part I played in my own life, and that's something that you're going to have to be able to do in order to be powerful. The reason I'm so powerful now is because I can tell you I was born of a parent that was a sociopath and the other one was a psychopath. Thank God I have my grandparents and they raised me first, because I have every reason not to care about people and every reason not to have compassion, every reason to manipulate you, and every reason to mistreat you and to be unkind to you. Every morning with every situation, I absolutely choose whether I'm going to be kind or not, because it's not in my nature to do that. See, and to be real about that, there's a monster that resides in me
I love it.
that I have to fight every day.
Yes.
That's why I'm so powerful,
Yes.
because I admitted to it and I was real about it and I examined all of who is me. And this is what we're trying to tell you, so that you can start to get where it is that you're supposed to be in an unlimited way, and you no longer have a box. But that doesn't mean that you don't take responsibility for who you are. That doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want to other people. What it means is that you take full responsibility for the choices that you make. This is about your choices every day. And my question then becomes, what are you going to do about caring about your soul? Because you have Marilyn right here. Emmy is right here for you. And I'm wondering why everybody hasn't gotten a hold of her and started working with her on their soul. I'm concerned. I don't get it. And I don't get why any of you haven't taken AI. I hear so many people talk about how they went and got Jimmy Choo shoes, and and I'm a shoe horse too. God knows I love a beautiful pair of shoes. But let me tell you something about Jimmy Choo and Fendi bags and all of that. You can go get that and you'll be cute while you're wearing it. But if you get with Emmy Porter and you get with AI, you'll be cute every day, all day.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So I'm trying to understand that. So Marilyn, help me out here. What are one or two of the things that people, especially women, can do to care for their souls?
Oh, it's so funny because in listening to you just now, I have this list that I have put together. It's called 21 Ways to Soul Filled Living, and the
Mhm.
very first one on that list is tell yourself the truth about you.
Yeah.
What you just said, tell yourself the truth about you. That is, I mean,
Mhm.
I mean, that should have been like the 11th commandment. Tell
Mhm.
yourself the truth about you.
Yes.
Because let me tell you something, when you can really get raw, I mean, and it's not I don't want to make it appear that it's an easy thing. I'm sure that you can high five me on that. It's not
Oh
easy
no.
to get down and dirty with yourself. It is not easy because you are going to come up with some mud in your face, blood on your hands. Like it's not an easy thing. I've had to kick and scream and cry. I have found myself balled up on my bathroom floor, naked in the dark. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
But I know who I am, and I know how to help somebody else get to I call myself a truth slayer, right? Right?
Yes.
Because we gonna slay the truth. We gonna get to the absolute truth of who you are. You know what I'm saying? Not how you became who you are, because I believe that we come to the planet exactly what we are. We come
Yes.
here, and
Yes.
that's that raw place that people are afraid to get to. You know what I'm saying? That ooh, oh my goodness, Christina, go get my excuse me, I'm sorry, my low battery light just came on. Go get my plug from my computer, please. Thank you. But um but to answer the question, a few of the things that you can do to really start really getting down into that soul care is to give thanks for where you are right now. That's what I had to do. I had to really give thanks for who I was right in the moment that I realized that there was more to it. Right in the moment when I realized in my mind that there has to be more to this life.
intervention, and then I end up over here, why do people suffer? And so I did quite a bit of study on suffering, and I want to see if this is where you're kind of going with it.
Okay.
Okay, so when I study suffering, there are so many ways in which we suffer, and some of it is children. I worked with children for 30 years as an RN, and I couldn't understand, God, how could you let this child be abused like this, or have cancer, or whatever it is? And then, what I was questioning was, again, God's relationship to someone else. And one of the things that I have people do who especially are monotheistic is look at Job, because they always said about Job you have that old saying, you have the patience of Job. Okay, I want y'all to go back to Job didn't have patience. He was the whininess, complainingness. But Lord, I'm right, but I did all of this stuff for you. Well, how come you letting all of this happen to me? Why am I suffering? And what I came to find in all my studies on suffering, not just biblical, was that, like you said before, you already answered it really, it was necessary in order for you or me or whoever to start to make the one leap that humans have yet to make in the hundreds of thousands of years we've been on the planet. Okay, and that is that emotional, spiritual leap toward each other,
Right.
where we stop being violent toward each other and we actually start to love each other. And it's very difficult to do that if you don't have understanding of what it is to suffer, you
That's
know?
right. Yes.
So when my parents brought me here, one of the things that they did, it was so different from where I came from. I came from an island in North Carolina off the coast, and it was the most beautiful life you can ever imagine. Shangri-La, and one of the words I use the most besides love and dedication of my grandparents and um and their spirituality was safe. I was safe. When I came to live with my parents, I wasn't safe. My father was a pimp. My mother was an RN who worked 16 hours. She was his, she was the martyr and the one that he could pretend that he had this other life, and then he had this second life. And she actually allowed this heroin addict to take me at 8 years old and run the streets with him, while he was beating women down and, getting money from them. And, I never experienced anything like this because they lived in New Jersey while I lived with my grandparents for those 8 years, and I would see them, but I was like, okay, I don't like you guys.
Yeah.
You know? My grandmother was like, she would be like, forgive me, Lord, but that's the damn devil, I swear. And I couldn't figure out whether she was talking about my mother or my father, but whatever, But they I I've seen so many things. And that's why I can go from the hood to the boardroom, back to the hood, back, because I was raised there. I was raised in those mean streets. And my father was one of the reasons that those streets were mean, but he was also a genius. And my mother, a genius, brilliant. They were brilliant people. But what they chose to do with their lives and how they chose to really commit violence against each other and other people was so very psychotic. And so I think, when I was a little child, I used to think, what did I ever do to you, Jesus? Because I was raised, like I said, a Baptist, and I used to wonder that at 8 and 9 years old. What did I ever do to you? And me and Jesus stopped being friends. Because me and Jesus, this is where I really got me and Jesus. It wasn't so much Jesus. I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. I still have the same problem with Jesus. It wasn't so much Jesus. It was that I didn't like Jesus as friends, to be honest. I really didn't. I couldn't understand why he chose the asshole friends he did, and I wasn't interested. So but I had this connection with God, and I And God never said I wasn't going to suffer. And God never
That's
said I
right.
wasn't going to go through
That's
things.
right.
Whereas somehow I got this in my head that Jesus did say that, if you believe in me, you can da 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 da
Anything.
da. But that's not what God,
Mm-hmm.
said. That's not what I feel from the goddess either. I feel
Creator.
like,
That's right.
yeah, I feel like the creators are telling me, listen, you suffer so that you can understand how to help other people. And I couldn't understand it in the way that I do if I hadn't have gone through what I had. Now some of these things that I became adults, that didn't have nothing to do with my parents. That was my choosing.
Right.
Like I said, I put my legs in a V. Come on,
Right.
ladies. You
Right.
put your legs in a V
Right. That's
and
right.
you have babies, and it goes on. Now I chose to do what I did. I'm not taking responsibilities for what the fathers did, but I'm telling you what I chose to do. And like Emmy said, unless we get real about these things, and I'm gonna take it, a further step where AI goes. The fact of the matter is, you can forget being powerful. You can X out all these other programs where they tell you about empowerment and all that crap, because you're not going to do it until you know who you are
That's right.
and you're real about that. Now, I'm real about the fact that I'm a
That's right.
genius too. I'm real about that. I'm a badass
Yes.
chick. I'm real
Yes.
about that. But I'm also real about the monster that I could choose to be every day, and that it's difficult to make that choice. Because some days I get up and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I ain't doing none of that. I don't like any of you, you know,
Yes. Yes. I
and I have
understand.
to choose it. So that's where I'm going with you guys, where Emmy is concerned. She is talking about helping you to get to these levels, crash down this box that really isn't a box, and work on your soul. And the first thing that she said in her 21 ways to soul truth is for you to get you,
Yep.
and then for you to have gratitude for
Yes.
the fact that you went through the things that you did to get to where you are.
Yeah.
So, tell me, Emmy, am I off? Tell me if I'm off,
No,
or
no, no. You are absolutely, you are dead on, and I'm glad that you went back and are you getting feedback?
I'm not.
I'm glad that you went back and reiterated it, because what I was feeling like in that moment, I was feeling like somebody who is listening wasn't quite grasping the way I was saying it, and so and that's one of those things where you have to know you, right? So
Right.
I know me well enough to pick up on the frequencies that are going on around me, and so I sense that, okay, somebody needs to get this, and the way that I'm saying it is not working. So thank you. I appreciate that you came behind me and reiterated that in another way so that everybody can get that understanding. But you're absolutely right. What you said was absolutely dead on. Yes, absolutely. So tell yourself the truth about yourself and have gratitude for everything that got you to the place where you could really fully stand up in yourself. If I just had to tell someone two things, those two things right there it will get you to the door. It will get you to the front door. Now it's going to take some more to open the door and walk in, but that right there will get you to the front door.
So tell me this, because we've learned so much here. I'm just like, ah. Like my brain is like, yes, yes. Good thing you don't have hair, girl. You could get it all in. Um, how does how is it that you, Emmy, um guide other women to become familiar with their soul smile? And I'm going to give you an example, because I really want you to use this on me as an example. I'm going to go back a few years when I had my 16-year-old daughter, and her father decided when I was about 7.5 months pregnant that he didn't want to have anything to do with her or me. Now, this is a man who claimed that he couldn't wait. We're gonna have this baby. This is gonna be wonderful, and this and that. And he I'm a grown woman. I could get past it, but it was so um difficult because of the part I played, because I put my legs in a V and I got with this man. So I played a huge part in creating my daughter, and my daughter deserved better than this. And I felt like my soul was just ripped apart. And I think what happens is we don't understand that one of the areas besides our gut, for women, one of our most powerful areas and the pearly gates of heaven is our vagina.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we get caught up, and men see things a different way. Women, you have two, I'm going to say it over and over, you have 2,000 to 5,000 more genomes than men. That's how you're born. Every embryo begins as a female, and then the cells divide out into becoming male or staying female. So you understand that you have an innate, inborn power that you are neglecting, and you're pushing it down with so much pain and hurt and betrayal. And we're doing it to each other, because my mother was saying to me that, well, when are you going to forgive him? And when are you going to do this for him? And it was like she had no care for what he had done to his own daughter, and she wasn't even born yet. And his mother, I was a registered nurse then. I'd been a registered nurse since before my 24-year-old was born. So I didn't need him. It's something like you said, Marilyn, we were able to do what we needed to do. We're brilliant women. We could do what we do. So, fiscally, I didn't need him, but fiscally, he needed to do what he needed to do with his daughter. And it took my sister to really convince me of that too. But I was so, I won't say brokenhearted. I was so soul broken. And so what would you do with someone who's like that? Because we got a lot of women out there who are so broken. And I just want to take all of you and put you on my chest and say, mama's here and I love you.
Yeah.
And if no one's told you that you matter and you're important, I'm here to tell you that. So what would you do for that young woman who was me? How would you help her with her soul being broken?
Love, step one for me, when I feel like I have come in contact with um, a broken soul, is let's go ahead and tear it all the way down.
Hmm.
Let's tear it all the way down. Let's not try to repair it. Let's just
Hmm.
go ahead and tear it all the way down. And so, in doing so, to get to a broken soul, it takes more than one event.
Yes.
One thing doesn't happen in your life that totally breaks your soul. Your life happens, and,
Yes.
and you don't deal with life events as they come. Some things happen that you don't even really know that there's something to deal with. And so what I do is I say, you know what, let's go back. Let's go back to where this could have possibly began. So tell me, just talk to me. Talk to me like, let's just have girlfriend talk. Just
Yes.
talk to me. Tell me tell me your thoughts, your feelings. Tell me, when was that first boyfriend that you had? Or when was the first time you needed approval from your mama and you didn't get it? Let's figure out where we need to deconstruct, because
Yes.
let's just tear it all down. You know what I'm saying? I believe in restoration, but I'm going to tell you what I believe in more. I believe in reconstruction all the more.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
I believe in restoration, but I believe in reconstruction all the more. And so, one of my gift, absolute gift, if I had to tell you that I came to the planet Earth for one thing, it would be to tear things down. It would
Yes.
tear things down. So step number one is, let's go ahead and just tear it down. I don't want you to just cry a little bit. Like, I want you to cry so much till another person would think you having a nervous breakdown. Like, I want you to just freak right on out. I just want you to do whatever you need to do. If you need to throw stuff, if you need to kick, if you need to scream, if you need to curse me out, I want you to do whatever it takes to just totally tear those walls down. Let's just get rid of them and then sweep it away. And then let's start with a clean slate. Right? Let's start with an absolute clean slate. And so now we know the things that cause your soul to break. So we already know by default what we are not accepting.
Yes.
We already know if a lie was a part of it, we don't deal with untruth. You know, if cheating, adultery, whatever, we already know that you don't engage with people. And when I say cheating and adultery, I don't just mean it from a marital perspective. I mean anyone that you are in relationship with who can take your absolute trust and prostitute it to somebody else.
Yes.
That's what I mean. So let's go and let's start with let's clean the slate. Let's move all of the debris that's impeding you from getting to that divinity that you're trying to touch. Because stuff happens and life happens, and if you don't clean it up as you go, you're trying to reach through that abdomen and you're trying to get to the end, right? But you're hitting roadblocks, and you think that the roadblocks are the end, and they're not. They are restricting you from getting to that hand, that divinity of God. And so let's start from scratch. Let's get all that debris out the way. And let's begin to build you back up with the things that make you healthy from the inside out. With the things that make you healthy. And so for me, I'm going to use myself as an example. When I began to reconstruct, one of the things that I knew was it pierces my soul. Literally, it pierces my soul when I trust someone and they lie to me. So I knew that liars could not be a part of my reconstruction. And in knowing that liars couldn't be part of my reconstruction, guess what that meant? It meant that I could not be a liar. Mm-hmm. So in reconstruction, you have to become all of the material that is required, right, to build you back up. You have to become all of that stuff. And so now I'm going to give you an example. The other day I was on a phone call. I was out to lunch with my daughter, and a gentleman called me, and his tone of voice was raised, what one would call yelling. And I didn't want to hear it. So I hung up the phone. I didn't say, I'm going to talk to you later. I didn't say bye. I'm thinking, it's my phone, it's my ear, it's my spirit at risk here. I don't want to hear it click. I don't need your permission to stop that from coming into me. But my daughter said, he called back. And when I answered the phone, he said, I just wanted to see if you had hung up on me. And I said, I did. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I went on talking to my daughter, and she said, Mom, did he ask you if you hung up? And I said, yeah. She said, why would you say yes when you could have just said you lost your signal? And I said, because I wanted him to understand. Mm-hmm. I made a conscious choice. First of all, I want to tell him the truth. Yes, I hung up the phone because I don't want anybody lying to me, right? So yes, I did hang up on you. Secondly, I need for him to know that I made a conscious choice to decide what was allowed into my person, and that was not allowed. So you can't lie to me. I won't lie to you. You can't yell and scream at me. I won't yell and scream at you. So that's first things first. First things first is let's just blow it up. Let's just get rid of it all. We don't even want any debris, because this is what we got to get as humans. Destroying the debris still doesn't touch who you came to this earth as.
Yes.
It doesn't take away from the essence of who you are. You're just destroying all of the debris. Because the truth is, your soul is very much intact.
Right. And you
It's
can't
yeah,
build a foundation on debris.
right,
I love the way
right.
you put that,
Right.
you know.
So your soul is very much intact. Your soul, it feels broken because if I can think of let's see, because there's no flow. Nothing can get to it. You know,
Yes.
nothing can get to it. There's this wall of junk impeding it. So it's not getting love. It's not getting affection. It's not being nurtured in any way because the debris is sucking it all up. The debris is sucking it all up. Every time you try to put something in there, it just gets lost in the trash. So your soul, even though it may feel broken, it's very much intact because remember, that's where you and God come to collaborate about you. So it's always intact. But it gets impeded, and so it's not getting the life, the vitality, the nutrients, the care that it needs. It's like I had fibroid tumors.
Hmm.
Things that the doctor said was the fibroid is different than other tumors in that it takes on basically a life of its own. It creates its own blood supply. It does, and so that's kind of what the debris does. It takes on its own life force. And so you're not getting the nutrients that you should get because this other life force is sucking it all up. So your soul is not broken. Your soul is fully intact. It's just not getting the care that it needs. So let's destroy everything that's making you feel like your soul is broken, and let's reconstruct the passageway to your soul so that it gets what it needs.
God, that is amazing. Like that is absolutely amazing in me. And I'm hoping that everybody was listening to this, because I was talking to you guys from the point of a woman who was 32 years old. I already had a son, and to I wanted to believe what I wanted to believe about this man too. And I want us to get that as women, you know we believe the hype. Emmy has been talking to you all of this time about us not us believing untruths about ourselves, not being real about that. We also believe untruths about other people, and she just talked to you about lies and how those come down. And the fact of the matter is, I agree 100%. It felt like my soul was broken, and there was so much that got me to that point, and that's why now, um, I can tell all of you about those things that I drove to my own delivery,
Yes.
because my daughter came a month early. And one of the things that I really, as you go through it, you need to get with ME. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is just something I'm telling you. You need to get on her website. You need to call her. You need to send smoke signals. You need to do whatever it takes and get with ME, because we want to make sure that we are working on nourishing your soul,
Yes.
because it's lost its nourishment in some ways. And I'm telling you how that happened with me. And because I wanted to be honest with you about some of the suffering that I went through. In part, I caused myself. Okay. So
Yes.
don't I'm not going to sit here and,
Right.
and pretend like I did not play a part. And I need you to start to take your 100. And the other thing that Emmy said here that I thought it's so very important, and it's what we do in AI. We do it a little bit different, but Emmy is someone who is specialized in your soul care, and I just need for you to do that. I need you to get in there and take care of your soul care, because it's too imperative to the amazing, brilliant, beautiful, incredible woman that you are. And until we can start to do, as Emmy said, really clean up that debris, go back. That's why in AI we make you do self-study.
Yeah.
because we need to get down to the bottom of what's going on. We go back in your history, not so you can blame people or not so you can carry it on, so you can look at it for what it was and then decide whether this is what I say. You're going to look at each of your beliefs about yourself, because other people imprint on you and situations imprint on you and you imprint on you, and you begin to believe what the box tells you, okay, about yourself, instead of making choices about what you believe about yourself. Do you know how many people don't make choices about what they believe about themselves? They really just let stuff come in and out and go all around. And it really does take nourishment away from your soul, as Emmy has said. So when you do come to AI, we really do make you look at all of these things, and we have different exercises in which we do this every day until you get to the point where you're like, you can breathe and you're going, oh, for real. And because I'm going to be real with you, I'm trying to get you to the fact that you are powerful. But I can't get you there. Emmy can't get you there if you're not going to get with us and help us do that with you. And Emmy has specialized in this, in really nourishing your soul and really working on your soul care. So if you're going to continue to sit around and be woe is me and how come I'm not and whatever, just remember you making a choice. And if you're going to continue to go buy those chimmy chews or whatever it is, instead of putting your money where it needs to be, because I'm going to tell you something, AI is nowhere near free. Okay. I don't do free. Okay. Okay, we're tripping right now. I want you guys to know, just in case some of you guys got confused, because I have this face that says that I care. I do care, but I also have to tell you the truth. Me isn't free, and neither am I. And I want you guys to stop that bullshit too. Okay, like you go pay for McDonald's, you don't ask them for some fries and for free. Don't come here with that. All right. And I'm going to give you what you need, and Emmy is going to give you what you need in order for you to make those leaps to be the best person you can be. And we don't play with that. So just like you go spend $3,000 on Jimmy Choo shoes to look cute for about 5 or 10 minutes, okay, then you're gonna have to pay for that cost. And it's worth it. You're worth it. It's only if you don't believe you are. Absolutely. You know. So I'm telling you now, we're here for you, and we really want to help you. And I really, really, I'm begging you to go to Emmy. I am begging you to go there and get with Emmy. You know. So Emmy, I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, as we're wrapping up here, I got a question. This is something that I told you I'm asking all of the guests that come on Real Life with Love 3D TV, and of course we're going back to the radio too, so we're going to have both platforms with Real Life with Love. And last year we spoke a whole lot about the goddess and your pearly gates. The pearly gates to heaven, your vagina. Yes, I'm saying it out loud again. Vagina, vagina, vagina. Yeah. Okay. So this year we're really talking about the difference between power and strength. And I wanted to get from Emmy what her definitions and differences and sameness, even if you see it that way. I mean, what power versus strength or power and strength mean to you, and what it can mean to the women that we're working with and wanting to work with and here for.
First of all, I love the question, and it rendered me to really think a little bit. Like, what do I think? And I'm always so accustomed to working with the internal, and so everything to me is normally defined in my head, internal and external. And so my first description was that my strengths are internal. My strengths are the things that are anyone's strength are the things that drive me to stand firmly in who I am. That those are my strengths. Those are the things that keep me in line within myself. My power, however, is my outside influence. So my strength influences me on the inside. My power is my external influence. So my power are the things that are my strengths manifested outwardly,
Mm-hmm.
in essence. And so your power gives you the ability to move the atmosphere, to change what's going on around you, um, show up boldly
Mm-hmm.
as who you know yourself to be internally. Your power then shows up and says, "Oh, I'm a boss. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
I'm and you show up so boldly that it allows you to command everything around you. And so that is power, but it's the strength inside of you that awards you the opportunity to show up externally.
Yes. Yes, I so agree with that. Like I love the way you put that. Looking at one as an internal thing and looking at the other as an external thing. And as we go forward with this discussion, because I really think that this is a powerful discussion to have to be able to talk about power versus strength. And I always say that a lot of times what happens is that women are taught to be strong, meaning resilient, get back up, when you fall, make it through all of these things. Like I said, I drove myself to my own delivery. I had my water had broken, and and all my friends were pissed off. Okay, I just want you guys to know, I don't want you guys to think that like my friends and stuff weren't pissed off, and family. They were like, "You did what?"
Yeah.
But it was just a part of who I was. I was like, "I want my car at the hospital. Okay, don't fight me with this." um, so yeah, I think that I agree with that. And I know that in order for you to have power, it means that you're able to influence, like you're saying, Emmy, your environment. And so I'm going to give you guys another quick example. I hear this from a couple people all the time. Why do you always bring up politics? Because I love talking about politics, so I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to say what the hell I want. Okay, so Donald Trump kissed my ass. That let me start there, and I'm gonna say this. I admitted this yesterday, but I'm gonna keep admitting this year. Since we're telling the truth about things, Marilyn and me, we're telling the truth. Let me tell the truth. Um, I'm married to a Republican. Okay, there, it's out.
I love it.
Now you all know, okay? All right, it's been said. I'm married to a freaking Republican, and I'm so not one. All right, and and I'm not going to make any excuses for the fact that he's a Republican or anything like that. He was kind of born into that thing, and I'm not going to get into it. But he and I do have these political disagreements, as you can imagine. But I will say this: we are able to reach across the aisle. I could teach you how to reach across the aisle. Hmm. Yeah, that's how my knee got jacked up. Okay, so um, the thing about it is, sitting here and we were talking, and I turned to him. Oh, he happens to be white too, but my problem is like he's a Republican, and he goes, he always tells people, I am married to the original like Black Panther. Huey Newton has nothing on this woman. You guys don't know she's a militant. Okay, so how I married a Republican, that's a whole nother story, but okay. So he was saying, we were talking about how they had their debates. The Republicans had their debates, and okay, the Democrats got their problems too. I'm really more of a staunch liberal, but Democrats have their problems too. So we're not gonna act like they don't. Okay, but when the Republicans have their debates, I was sitting there watching Donald Trump actually bullying people, and like people were clapping, like they were happy that he was being, and it's violence. Bullying to anyone is violence, whether it's, people think that violence means physical. No, it's mental, emotional, and spiritual as well.
Mhm.
Okay. And so I'm watching this whole show go on, and I'm watching these other Republicans, however many of them, 9 other ones or whatever that were up there, and they weren't saying anything to stop him. And like, this is the problem, at least here in the Americas. I know it's a problem internationally, but I'm talking about here in the Americas. This is the problem. We feel like we can do this kind of thing to people and that it's okay. And actually, other people are applauding us as we are tripping with someone else. Now, one of the things that happened that really got me, and I can't believe us as women, okay, this is where I'm talking about power and strength, okay? These 8, 9 Republicans were standing up there, all of them with penises, and all of them talking about how they did whatever it was they did to help to destroy Planned Parenthood.
Oh,
Okay, now I don't care if you believe in, you don't believe in abortions or not. Okay, I'm not arguing that point. But Planned Parenthood does so much more than abortions. They really do help with the health of women and teaching, and they do mammograms and pap smears, things that we need to have done to our beautiful bodies every year to check on us, just like we need our soul taken care of every day. We need to take care of our internal organs. Emmy was talking about she had fibroids. Me too. I had to have my uterus removed, and it could have become cervical cancer so quickly. So I'm standing here watching these men talk about how they're going to destroy a health organization that has to do, and are destroying a health organization that has to do with women. Now, it'd been one thing it was if it was a bunch of women there with vaginas talking about how they don't like it, or the other people with vaginas do. But who are men with penises to be deciding what's going to happen to the health of women? And what are we doing as women? These men come out of us.
that's right.
Okay? We raise these fools in our own home. And you think you can stand up and tell me
That's
what I'm going to do and how I'm going to be served with my health? Okay, we got a problem, women. We got a problem
yeah.
that we are only dealing in our strength and not our power, because we have the ability to influence and to make a difference, and to have men taking action. One of the studies that was done some years back, they asked men, what is the thing that they fear the most from women? And you know what that was? Is that we would reject them. What is it that women fear the most from men? That they would kill or harm us physically.
Mhm.
I want you to think about that. Now, if we all had just give it a week where we all said there will be no sex, you wouldn't be talking about Planned Parenthood anymore or anything else that I didn't want you to. Okay?
That's right.
So I'm just telling you, you have the power and the influence to make a difference about your own body and what your health is. And you have the power and the strength to be able to choose that. You want to choose your soul, and you want to work with Emmy Porter, you know? And that's what I'm asking from all of you. Emmy, please tell us where everybody can get a hold of you.
They can catch me on my e-real estate, which is www.marylyneporter.com, MarilynEporter.com. And, you know, I'm a social media hog, so I'm very often on Facebook. I have a few fan pages. I am M.E. Porter and Motivationally Me. Or just my regular, you know, personal page. I'm very picky about my personal page, so people should know if you don't feel right and you show up in my friends request box, you get ignored.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
You know, but I'm on Twitter, Instagram at Solution Sage. That's SOUL Solution Sage. And so I mean, if they reach out to me, I promise I will reach back. I also give people my phone number. And I do that because I think that in order to disarm people, you have
Mhm.
um, you have to be disarming. In
Yes.
order to disarm someone, you have to be disarming yourself. And so they can also reach me at 404-500-8722. And I do respond to messages at my earliest convenience. But I promise if you reach out, I will reach back.
God, my God, I love you, woman. This has been so much fun. Oh my gosh. And I've said all kinds of things that people are going to be like, oh Lord, she did it again. She did it. This girl done did it again. She did it again.
I think
Okay.
this was awesome. This was awesome. I think somebody needs to call like CNN and BET and all of them people and say, hey, y'all need to go on YouTube.
We had a great time. Like I learned so much as always. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on.
You are
And
so
and
welcome.
please, everybody, please get with ME. I'm not playing with you. You deserve this. You deserve to have your soul cared for and to learn how to do that on a daily basis. And Marilyn Porter is the one. She is the genius, I'm telling you, that will help you with your soul. I love you all very much. Thank you all for being here with me. And Marilyn, oh my God, Emmy Porter, yeah. Welcome to the Power Central.
Yes.
Yes. Love you so much. Thank you so much. And I will be chatting soon. And all of you, we are going to, be doing this on rewind so you can see it again. You can watch it as often as you want. That's right. All right. To my real life with love fam. Check you guys all later.
Bye.